Hello everybody and welcome back to the new VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we have a lot of exciting news to go over, including new releases, game updates, some competition to the Bhaptics VR Vest, and Meta is finally implementing some parental controls. Now this is going to be a fun video with lots of stuff I'm excited to talk about, but if I ever miss an important subject, feel free to let me know down in the comments, and I'm also just curious to hear what you guys have been up to in VR. Now there are of course links and timestamps down in the description, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design, one of my favorite sites for VR accessories. They just released some brand new Quest 2 hand straps that'll give you that Valve Index feel and allow you to completely let go of the controllers. They also have plenty of other accessories like controller weights for those of you who work out in VR, cable management systems, and my favorite accessory, their super durable and extra comfy Quest 2 Elite strap. There are links down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so let's start this video off with my check-in, what I've been up to in VR, and I've finally recovered enough from surgery to get back to Supernatural. I still can't go all out and have to limit my power, but overall it feels great to be working out in VR again, and I am planning a full video on Supernatural where I'll show off my results, which if you follow me on TikTok, you'd already know it's been pretty dramatic as I'm currently down 15 pounds. Now on top of that, I've also been playing a lot of the Tales of Onogoro, which is nothing like I expected, but in a good way. This game has some amazingly beautiful graphics, especially for a Quest title. Now, Japanese anime might not be your style, but this is undeniably a great looking game. The game's intro hooked me right away, and it's easily the best start of a game since I Expect You to Die. But what caught me off guard the most was the fact that this is actually a puzzle title. There's a lot of story-driven narration, a series of puzzles that take a few minutes each to solve, followed by an epic boss fight. I'm only halfway through the game at the moment, but I am definitely impressed, finding myself immersed in the storyline, and definitely being challenged by some of the harder puzzles. I won't have time to put out a full review, but if you follow my other social media accounts, I'm sure you'll hear more from me, and feel free to even shoot me some questions on Discord. Okay, so let's move into this week's short but sweet release schedule, starting with the oil painting app Vermillion. Vermillion is currently available on Steam, but is coming to the Quest this Thursday, March 24th, and will include a new pass-through feature. So if you ever wanted to get your Bob Ross on but not get messy in the process, this is how you do it. For those of you who don't understand the Bob Ross reference, just know that my childhood was way cooler than yours, and it included a man who loved to paint happy little trees. Now, if you're actually looking for a man, VR's first dating app, Planet Theta, is set to release this Friday. So take your virtual date on a walk through an enchanted forest, watch a movie together, grab a cup of coffee, or maybe even play a game of cards. Planet Theta is promising a mini metaverse with an emphasis on forming relationships. Now, personally, I don't know what to think about this project. When I was approached to check it out, the dating app title immediately threw me off, as I've been married for more than 10 years, and it felt like a no-fly zone. But I do plan to jump in and just take a look around and see what it has to offer, but I don't foresee any virtual dating in my future. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any additional official release dates scheduled for this week, but there are plenty of other reveal and release date trailers to go over, and many other game updates. The first story is the rapidly approaching release date for Moss Book 2, plus plenty of additional information on this title. On March 31st, Moss Book 2 will be available for the PlayStation VR, and will be taking everyone's favorite mouse protagonist through a series of new puzzles and combat. Now, it looks like not only will Quill be getting some new weapons, but we're also getting new ways to interact with the world around her. There's more objects to reach out and grab, and the built-in microphone might even be a new method for interaction. If you're running on a PlayStation 5, you can obviously expect some overall improvements, including reduced load time and enhanced graphics. The original Moss remains one of my favorite VR titles, and I'm definitely planning to get a review up for Book 2 as soon as possible. Now, another title rapidly approaching is the minigame-filled Timberman VR. Focusing on addictive gameplay that's easy to learn but hard to master, you'll be chopping down trees while testing your speed and accuracy. Don't expect to see any realism here, because these trees are armored, filled with bombs, and have branches that will only be cut in a very specific manner. Now, minigames generally aren't what I'm looking for, but I will admit they can be addictively fun, and we'll have to wait and see what Timberman VR has to offer. There's no official release date just yet, but you can wishlist it on Steam. Now, if you're not sick of zombies in VR, we got a reveal trailer for The Living Remain. This is a single-player, narrative-driven zombie shooter that's 6 years in the making. The Living Remain promises a compelling single-player storyline, combat including a large variety of guns, plus close combat melee weapons, realistic physics, a crafting system, and a series of engaging puzzles. VR can always use some more single-player campaigns, so I've added this one to the wishlist. I will be on vacation when it releases on April 5th, but hopefully I'll get to it later down the road. Okay, so let's move into some game updates, starting with the Half-Life Alyx Return to Rapture mod, which has officially released their Part 2. I can't stress enough how absolutely amazing this mod is. It is a full campaign with 24 separate maps. It features assets and enemies from the original BioShock games, and completely new storytelling that has been seamlessly integrated into the Half-Life universe. The level design is top-notch, and it doesn't feel like just more Half-Life Alyx. It feels like something that can stand on its own, and I highly recommend anyone who has Half-Life Alyx to check out this mod. Now, when you get it from the workshop, make sure you download all the parts for this, otherwise you may run into some issues. Now, in other good news, one of my favorite VR titles, Until You Fall, has just received a two-handed weapon update and is currently on sale for 40% off until Thursday, March 24th. This melee-based roguelite title is equal parts addictive and exhausting. Previously, it was all about dual wielding, but now you could really bring the pain with some two-handed weapons. So the new strategy is, who needs defense when you have extra offense? There's so much to love in this title, from great combat to awesome graphics, and I'm just happy to see it's still getting updates. Now, another amazing title, Phasmophobia, is also getting a VR overhaul. Developers Skinetic Games recently posted a sneak peek on their Twitter page, which included some improved hand poses, quality of life changes for grabbing objects, a repositioned belt for holding items, and they've also added a seated mode. If you haven't tried this 4-person online co-op Ghost Hunter and you can handle some jump scares, I highly recommend this game. Phasmophobia is an absolute blast to play. Speaking of games that are a blast to play, the Nordic drum-smashing rhythm title Ragnarock now has a new DLC available. For $5.99, you'll get an additional 6 tracks, including one epic song that's 10 minutes long. So if you were itching to smash some more drums, now's your chance. Now, if rhythm games aren't your style, how about some PvP, PvE, and even some PvPvE? Yeah, I said that right. After a successful Kickstarter, the multiplayer action title Patcher is currently featuring an open beta event. Patcher features 3 main gameplay modes. One is a 4v4 deathmatch. The second is a co-op monster hunt, where you can obtain rare items to enhance your weapons. And finally, there's a raid boss mode, where you not only have to battle a giant creature, but also an opposing team. I've just downloaded the demo for this game and can't wait to check it out, as this looks like a truly unique multiplayer experience. Okay, so we just have one more game to go over on today's list, and that's Altair, which comes from the same studio that brought us Swords of Gargantua. Planning to release sometime this summer for both the Quest and PCVR, we're getting a 4-person co-op melee title that's being self-described as more casual than Swords of Gargantua. It features fast-paced sword fighting and even aerial combos. When Swords of Gargantua originally released, it was way ahead of its time, featuring both excellent graphics and physics-based sword fighting. Now, there's not much information available on this title just yet, but that should change in the near future, as I'm curious to see if this is just another arena fighter, or it will feature some sort of campaign. Either way, the studio's past experience should definitely help out here, and I'm looking forward to this game. Okay, so let's move into some hardware news, starting with a competitor to the Bhaptics Vest. A Kickstarter for Skinetic will begin tomorrow, March 22nd. Now, I've been in communication with the company for quite some time, and they're currently making some pretty bold promises. Now, I will have some coverage up on this hardware by the end of next month. I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks in April, and they told me my vest will arrive the day after I return. I'm going to put it through its paces and directly compare it to a Bhaptics X40 Tactsuit. What I'm most interested in is, how do the haptics actually feel? I absolutely love my Bhaptics vest, but I still wish the sensation was a bit more concussive rather than the generic vibration it gives off. Don't get me wrong, it definitely adds some significant immersion, but most of the time it feels like a rumble. Now, I'm being told that Skinetic offers a larger variety of sensation, but I'm gonna have to feel it to believe it. Now, while they are aiming to make it as convenient as the Bhaptics vest, which will feature either in-game native support or simple mods, but they're also attempting to put some extra emphasis on their audio to haptics to make this a product that you could use with basically anything. I'm extremely excited to test this out, and if you want some more information, just like everything else I spoke about today, there is a link down in the description. So the last story of today is another bit of good news, because it'll help us get little kids off of adult-themed Quest titles. Meta is finally introducing some new parental controls, which will go beyond just having a pattern lock on your account itself and will allow you to set something on a per app level. Meta also plans to introduce automatic app blocking, so users will be restricted from making purchases or downloading apps that are not of the appropriate rating. This will even go as far as blocking apps that access the PC like Link and AirLink. And finally, Meta plans to implement a system where a user can request permission from a parent account. This is how I have my daughter's laptop configured. If she attempts to open anything that I haven't cleared to launch, I will get a message and then I can go investigate what she's up to. I also get additional information like when and how much she's using the laptop, because as a parent, I really care about this stuff. Now, the vast majority of these controls are not in place yet. Pattern-based app locking will start next month in April, and then the automatic locks are planned for later in May. Now, parents will still need to be informed and educated on how this works though. I know plenty of adults who just set up the Quest for their kid, it's under their adult account, and they just hand it over. That obviously undermines the entire system, and they really need to look into what their kids are up to. Now we'll see what level of impact this has on titles like Gorilla Tag, but only time will tell. Okay, everybody, that was today's new VR news. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.